Jessica here with House of Self, where it's all about goal setting, mindset, and positive energy. I want to introduce to you, if you haven't heard of it yet, something called grounding or recentering when you're feeling off balance. And I don't mean physically. Yes, it helps physically too. I really mean just with your mental and emotional stability. Sometimes we wake up and we feel just off. There may not even be a reason for it. We just woke up and we feel completely off. And we might have feelings of irritation or aggravation, and it could be something as simple as maybe there's just something in the air. We're just really in tune with whatever's going on around us, and we feel those feelings, right? I know a lot of the times that's the case for me. And grounding helps a whole lot. Now, grounding is the process of pulling yourself back into center and stabilizing, so you're not feeling like you're out of control or bouncing all over the place. One of the techniques that I use to help me ground is deep breathing. Now, we've all seen it. There's plenty of apps about deep breathing exercises, and there's a lot of info out there on how to breathe deep. There's different techniques on deep breathing too. One of the ones I like to use is I breathe in as deep as I can, as slow as I can, and as long as I can. I really don't make any rules to it. I like to listen to my body and honor what it needs. So generally, whenever I breathe deep, it's usually, if you want to put numbers to it, it's usually between 7 and 10 seconds. I breathe in as slow and as deep as I can, and I inhale and I hold it there for roughly, if we want to throw a number at it, 4 to 5 seconds, and I start letting it out really slow till I'm empty. When you deep breathe like that, there's a couple things happening in your body. It slows down that high pulse rate. So if you're very anxious feeling or you're amped up, it helps to slow that down and stabilize your blood pressure, your heartbeat. It stabilizes all of that. Another thing it does is it helps to center your mind. So as you're having this anxiety or feelings of frustration or irritation, and you got all these thoughts and your brain's bouncing, when you're deep breathing and your heart rate is slowing to a better pace, a more steady pace, your mind starts to hush and pull in a little bit. You start to focus on your breath. You focus on, if you need to count, you can focus on those numbers, and you focus on the technique. And that helps to stabilize all your parts. It stabilizes your balance, your mental clarity. It stabilizes your emotional state. Another grounding technique, I've got a lot of them, but another one that I like to do is I will hold ice cubes, or I'll put my hands under cold running water. If I am heading into an anxiety attack or even a panic attack, I like to use that grounding technique because it's instant. Instantly, your body and your mind are focusing on that extreme cold that is in your hand. So immediately, it just kind of wrecks your system and re-guides you. And sometimes we need that little wrench in our system, right? We just need to stop and reset. So ice cubes and cold water are another wonderful grounding technique. When I'm holding the ice, I feel it's cold, the water's melting through my hands, and I can then work on my deep breathing and releasing those energies out of me that are making me feel unstable. And that's a nice go-to. Another grounding technique that I do a lot is I just take my shoes off. I go barefoot. I plant my feet on the ground and I feel the ground beneath me. I feel the floor, and it stabilizes me. The stability of the floor provides me stability because it's solid. It doesn't really waver, and this works on solid ground. If you're gonna go stand on something that moves, it might not work. So I want you to feel stable. Find some solid ground that you can't wiggle on or anything, and put those feet there and plant them. And focus on what you feel under your feet. And along the lines of using your feet to feel grounded, if you want to take it up a notch, if you're not concerned about people looking at you or wondering what you're doing, this is very natural and it makes a lot of sense here, okay? Go outside barefoot and put your feet on the ground. If you can find grass or natural organic ground, you know, if all you have is concrete, that's fine too. You put your feet, bare feet, on the ground. Grounding on earth or earthing, there's so many people call it different things. I just call it putting my feet on the ground. There's minerals and stuff inside the dirt. If you can get your feet into some dirt or grass, there's things there that will neutralize the energies in your body. So, and I'll probably do another video on that and explain further in depth. But we have energy coming off of us, and it's kind of like sending those lower vibrational energies back into the earth so they can be neutralized and we are of a more balanced state. I know for a lot of you this sounds like really way out there, but just have an open mind. It's not that crazy as it sounds. And then again, a lot of you are going to be like, girl, I know what you're talking about. It's magical. So I'm trying to speak to a lot of my friends out there that are really well versed in grounding and my good friends that are not too familiar with it. Just trust me. So another grounding tip is sometimes simply focusing in on an object and just anchoring to it. I call them anchor objects for that reason. When you're feeling unbalanced or unstable, deep breathing is the key to so much of it. Just kind of resetting your system, but sometimes we need a focal point. So just, you could be any object, it could be a tree, if you could see out of a window, whatever you want to look at that grabs your attention, focus on that and nothing else around you. And eventually, when you're hyper focused on that object and you're deep breathing, everything else around you fades away. The sounds, the sights, it all just kind of goes into the background and you're able to recenter and ground that way. I did this a lot in many of my jobs when I felt pressure or whatnot. Even it got to the point to where I just needed 2 or 3 seconds. And when you're in a fast-paced, busy environment, 2 or 3 seconds of just zen and zoning out is a blessing. It's a blessing, right? It's a breath of fresh air almost. I work a lot with energy, and recently in the past 2 years, I've really been studying a lot about different crystals and stones. I've always been attracted to beautiful rocks and stones and crystals as far back as I can possibly remember. So I've actually, in the past 2 years, started really looking into what that was about. I'm very connected to environment and earth, very connected to nature. So I know that for me, I believe that there is something to that. And I'm wearing these right here. These are black tourmaline. Now, tourmaline in the crystal world is believed to kind of be a energy purifier. Basically, it takes any low vibrational energies. Some people will say negative energy or non-serving energies or whatever is low vibrational. It takes those and it cleanses the energy around you and keeps your energy field pretty neutral and more in a positive state. So this is something I use crystals and stones a lot in my daily life. It's part of my daily life. And these are little clip-ons because I can't wear hooks. I have to have clip-ons even though my ears are pierced. I got little bitty ears. Another stone I love is tiger's eye. This stone, oh my gosh, I've been in love with tiger's eye probably since I could crawl. Like, this is a magical stone to me. I don't know. You could see the golds and the brown. It's very earthy, very grounding. Tiger's eye is great because it helps with anxiety. It helps with all of those emotions that make us feel very emotionally and mentally unstable sometimes. It's extremely earth tone, so it's very grounding in nature of its color and the properties that it has, and it just makes me feel good to have this stone on me. And a lot of the times, you know, people will consider that like a focal object, an anchor object per se. You know, you have an object that you can hold and focus on. And this is big for me, to always have like a little fidget, a little stone. I used to carry worry stones. Those were those small, I don't have one. Well, I don't have one. I have something similar. Okay, similar, not exactly. A worry stone would be similar to this shape. It would be very smooth like this, and it would have a little indent for your thumb, so you could sit there and you could rub it. And you just hold it in your hand and you rub it, and it just helps, again, it's called a worry stone, but it helps you center and ground. It gives you something cool, smooth, to feel, to the touch. So there's another sensory thing that you're able to anchor in on and help stabilize you. I love my little smooth stones. This one is geode, but like I said, I'm learning. To me, that looks like a geode slice, but it's got a lot of purple amethyst in it. My favorite color. So there's some information on grounding and different situations where you may want to pull in and ground and recenter. If you found this to be helpful, please subscribe and like the video, and pass it on to somebody. Maybe this info could help somebody else too. Well, I love you guys, and I hope you're doing well, and I wish you a very good week to come. Talk to you later. Bye.